All right, you are now tuned in to the Rotated Views podcast. I am your host, Jimmylee Velez. I'm here with Gabe, Goose, Angelo, and heck, Mission B33. In this episode, the crew is taking on a new challenge. We cover topics that range from challenge additions, recommendations, expected results, and much more. We've wrapped the episode up with quotes from Roy T. Bennett and Charles Darwin. Guys, if you're new, thanks for listening. Don't forget to download and subscribe. We drop a new episode every Tuesday morning for your listening pleasure. Kicking things off, gentlemen.
What's up?
Yep. So here we are. All right. So this is how it started. So if you're a regular listener to the podcast, you know that we did a challenge back in November, very successfully. A lot of things to overcome, a bunch of learning curves. We learned a lot, I think, and now we drilled down to a much, I guess, more polished version of that. And we're calling this B33 for Blessed 33, 33 days to live your blessed life. But now we're adding Angelo, and we added a few more challenges to the overall grid. So, with that being said, it's pretty straightforward, gentlemen. And you'll see, if you're a listener, if you're an active listener, you'll see that what we have added, and I'll point it out too. So number 1, chug a bottle of water upon waking up. I know that sounds basic, but it's the simple things. Number 2, work out for 20 minutes, ideally cardio. Number 3, pray/meditate for 10 minutes. Number 4, study/read for 10 minutes. This is where we're switching it up. We're going to read Blessed and Unstoppable by Dr. Velez Brooks. Mm-hmm. And he's an absolute beast when it comes to motivation. I heard about this guy about 10 years ago, and I cannot believe he just popped up on my feed because I was looking for books. And while we were looking for books, so when we did this the first time, we kind of kept it was like loose, like you read whatever you want to read type of stuff. But there was no true accountability, right? Like Heck was over there reading about Jeeps, Goose is reading about being a barber, Gabe's reading about some tech thing. And it was just, we couldn't even really come together and talk about, it made no sense. Plus, that's all fantastic, but that was more like hobby-ish. Some of that is career-centered or career-driven. However, we want to do something that was more for growth and personal development type thing. So this book, Blessed and Unstoppable, I've always wanted to read it. For some reason, it just fell off my radar. So it was very odd that it just popped up on the on the scene once again.
So it's one of the few books you haven't read.
Yes, it's one of the few books I have not read, which is crazy, actually, now that I think about it, because I was going through my library at home trying to get something small, something digestible, something that was the whole crew can just run through and within a month, and nothing more than 200 pages, right?
Yeah.
So I ran across this book. And now what we're gonna do is, it's interesting to top it all off. When things happen, when we say things happen for a reason, it's absolutely phenomenal. This book has 31 days to whatever, prosperity or living blessed and unstoppable. Our challenge is 33 days, and then there's some additional things in the back. Yep. So it's already broken down for us. Typically, you would get a book. So how many days are we doing this for? We're doing this for 30 days. You divide the book, whatever it is, into, let's say it's 33 chapters. You read a chapter a day, whatever, right? This is already broken down for us. And each one has like what we're going to do for the day, a message, something like a Bible verse. Everything's just broken down right there.
Affirmations and stuff.
Yes, affirmations. It's ready to rock and roll. So I'm extremely excited about this. And I'm almost certain that fell off my radar because you ever hear of the, there's like an old saying where it's something where like the teacher appears when the student is ready.
Oh, yes.
And so all of a sudden, maybe I wasn't ready to be, quote, blessed and unstoppable 5 years ago. I don't know. But I just thought it was interesting because he's still active on Instagram. And he was just one of those dudes where I just thought that I didn't know. You don't know. You don't know if it's a phase. You don't know if he's going to switch and do something else. He stuck with it. I think in the meantime, he became a doctor and got his doctorate. So now he's Dr. Velez Brooks. But anyway, every time I say his name, I want to say blessed and unstoppable because that's what he says after every post that he has. So that's what we're going to do. We added the book to this, which I think is going to be an element of discussion. So now we get to come back on a weekly basis and talk about what we read, the discussions, any powerful messages, things like that. So I'm excited for that. Review/recite affirmations. I sent the affirmations to the guys again today. A little bit different than what we had before. Again, sharpened. If you look at them, it's definitely more refined than we had back in 2022. Write one thing that you're grateful for. I think this is very basic. I think as a personal challenge, you might even want to send someone a text or a message or an email or a DM that you are proud of or grateful for to add to that element, right? I saw someone say that they send 3 text messages a day to people and tell them, hey, I just want to let you know that I'm grateful for you. That's stepping it up. Now, I don't know what you guys or your thoughts are on that. We can revisit that once we get through this list. But and then intermittent fast for one meal, which is skipping a meal, ideally breakfast, and then multivitamin is one that we added /supplements, and then a social media fast, which is also different. So we're gonna fast from our social media personal accounts. Obviously, we need to keep the podcast going. Blessed Lifestyle Brand, Miguel's Riverside Barbershop. Those things are gotta keep going for business purposes. But the personal accounts,
like the doom scrolling.
yes, the just boop ba-doo ba-doo. What I do pretty much after dinner, it's like, I'm not gonna lie to you, I like look forward to it. I come home from work, I play with the boys, we go eat dinner. After dinner, James starts his homework, Cade's like playing with something. If he doesn't want to do anything like with me or whatever, I just like plop on the couch, like do. It's a good half hour to an hour, like solid.
That flies by. That time
just going, and then I'm helping whatever Kel needs help with something with the boys, and I'm done. But keep it moving. But man, you can get lost in the sauce with that one. A lot of times my phone's just constantly dinging off.
Yeah,
that's the problem. It's like, it's not even that I have my phone in front of me. Looking at social media, it's like someone tagged me in something or they're sharing something, and so then I pick it up, put it back down, pick it up, and then I was watching Kel, and I'm like, oh my gosh, dude, we're doing this all night long. This is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
And so I think it's a healthy thing to do. I'm actually looking forward to it. I think we're going to realize how much time we actually do have for other things, and so I'm going to try to dedicate that time more towards the podcast, myself, self-help, the boys, whatever, just stuff that's going to allow me to grow, whether it's as a father, husband, brother, or just, personal or professionally. All right, so that's the list. It's 9. We added 2, and then we gave a twist to the reading one, and then maybe a twist to number 6, which is the one thing that you're grateful for on a daily basis. What are you guys' initial thoughts on that list? Oh, and we also added Angelo to the mix. So Angelo's is part of the crew. And we added him to the mix of the challenge, so B33. So we're going to be doing this for 33 days. We're starting February 1st, which starts on a Wednesday, ends on a Sunday, March 5th. Initial thoughts. What do you guys think? We'll start with Gabe.
So yeah, it seems obviously we all wanted to continue this because obviously we did it right before holiday, which that seemed like the worst, like not the worst time, but it was like a very like difficult time to start especially like a healthy challenge like that.
Yeah.
I'm sure all of us have kind of faltered to some degree, whatever, but
sure.
But it's good to kind of like, it's a new year, might as well get back into the swing of it, and adding a couple extra ones because I told you like we did want to do the multivitamin, so I was like that seemed like obviously a plus, and you recommended one. The book, it keeps us
in alignment,
focused,
yes.
I guess on something specific, so we actually have something to actually look forward to reading and all stuff too, and we can actually conversate about, not just like, oh, we're reading random stuff and like we don't know what the heck we're talking about.
I think it adds to the accountability element, where before it was like, I can't be at everyone's house in the morning like, oh yeah, he skipped, he didn't intermittent fast, right?
Yeah.
Or call you out on it, but it's not even calling each other out. It's just an accountability thing. Let's talk about the book that we read.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like, all right, well, I'm definitely going to read because I know the boys are going to read, or at least as a collective have read the book, or whatever that portion that we need for that week. So that's a great point. Goose, what do you think?
No, yeah, just like Gabe said, that was like the everyone on the same page on the book, literally on the same page. But yeah, I think that for me, that was my weakness in the last challenge, like I said before. So like this is awesome. It's dope. So it's gonna make me be super accountable of like keeping up with the rest, you know. And I think everything else is pretty much like reasonable. It's kind of like lightly altered from what we did last time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's I think it's pretty reasonable.
I love it. Angela, what do you think?
First of all, I appreciate the invite, being a part of. Thank you.
For sure.
Wow. I thought we were just doing an ice bucket challenge. I didn't know right. But no, like it's crazy. So I just came from somewhere tonight where the topic of where we were at was unity. And like I feel like this ties into this because like unity is everything. Like I know what it feels like to do things alone, but to be a part of, and then like Miguel was saying, hold people accountable. Like me and Miguel work together, so like I'll even talk to him after. Like yo, I'll put my sheet out and like check, and you check, and we motivate each other. Like yo, you fell short of your prayer today. Like time to get on. Like things like that. Like hold each other accountable. I think that's huge when it comes to this because it's easy when you're by yourself. You fall off and it's just you. You ain't got nobody like yo. You're slipping.
No one knows.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
You check it off and like I did that.
And like it's one of them things like if I lie on the sheet I'm just cheating myself, so there's no point to lie.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? But like I love the unity in it. The unity is amazing. You know what I mean? Just feeling a part of and being a part of. And it's all positive things. You know what I mean? So it's amazing.
Heck, what do you think? Initial thoughts?
I mean, I think it's dope. I mean, like last time we did it, everyone was all doing their thing and realizing what they're slacking in and what their, their motivation and all that stuff. And we're at it again, trying to keep it up going, make sure that we don't fall off on it. And it's dope that we added another person to it. To join the club with this. Yeah,
and technically it's all growth, right? We just added another person. That's growth. We're all like, this is personal like development. It's growth. Yeah. So and we're all gonna help each other like get through this. So that's like a unity growth, like Angela was saying. So this is super dope. It's all like going in the right direction where 2023 is gonna make everything like we all want, or like our dreams or goals, like kind of make it a little bit easier because some of these things probably is on your list of goals for the year.
Exactly.
Yeah, and I know me and Angela were talking on like a sidebar conversation. This also is not just the only thing. Just focus on this. This is the minimum, right? Yeah. And so if you want to add something, feel free to add something. And I think me, on my own, accountability, I'm going to add something, on a personal level. I know Ange's going to add something on a personal level, whatever. But it's dope because all this is going to keep you in alignment with all that, right? So maybe the following time we keep up, maybe it's just like how many times did you go to the gym? Now we're starting to like, you can work out at home. You can walk around the block, 10 minutes, whatever. Yeah. Then we start adding things. Now how much pounds you want to gain, how much pounds you want to lose, whatever. The specifics of it can just keep getting altered. So I have personal goals intertwined with this, that it's all in alignment. So we're a week out. I would just challenge everyone here, just continue to look at this and just think in your mind, what can you add? Because it's just going to motivate you that everyone else is doing the basics or the bare minimum. But I think it's dope to might as well challenge yourself even more. Because we all know this is nothing outrageous, right? Yeah. This is nothing like over the top. I think the biggest one's a social media fast, honestly.
Sure.
That'll be tough.
So, because that's a really, really bad habit. Everything in portions, they say, right?
Yeah.
And so I think we can get lopsided with these things. So it's good to, get chin checked every once in a while. And it's a mind, body, soul improvement. We're talking about meditation and prayer. We're talking about reading. We're talking about exercising, right? We're talking about telling someone you're grateful for them. This is all, things that, and then if you need to help on something to meditate, you can knock out 2-in-1 card, meditate on somebody you're grateful for. You know what I'm saying? Because that's just knocking out the one thing. You're putting your mind into a gratitude state, and you also could meditate and pray over it. I would also challenge everyone to pray for someone that you probably won't typically pray for, right? Yeah. And possibly this group. Maybe you should lead off your prayer or meditation with praying for this group here, these 5 men in this barbershop right now, and start off like that. And say, encourage each other. Because I just told Gabe, I don't know, maybe the podcast is going to take a shift. Maybe this is what we're doing. Maybe this is what the podcast is. It's constantly growing, constantly reading books, constantly challenging each other. And then we become, our own force to be reckoned with, the own empire. And everyone brings in their own elements, and like we dip off doing our own things with the Blessed Lifestyle brand, the barbershops, whatever. But you come back, and this is sort of like the core. So I'm actually looking forward. This might morph into something totally different. We might add another individual, and the guest is a guest who's jumping onto the B33, the next B33. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So I'm actually excited because I feel like it's going to reinvigorate the podcast too, because we've gone through so many guests, and I told Gabe, I was just like, if we have a guest, then we have a guest. But when we don't have a guest, why not? This is what we were doing in the beginning. Is actually how it started. Yeah. Was going through books, going through quotes, and talking about personal development stuff. Why not work on ourselves all at the same time? Like, we all have families and things to do. We're all busy. This is just a pause. 1 hour out of an entire week, a pause to sit back, reflect, discuss, grow. And listen, it's not going to be perfect. I know that's the number one thing. That was one of my biggest hurdles, and I talk about this all the time. One of my biggest hurdles in personal development was that I had, and goal setting was, I wanted it to be so perfect. I needed to hit every single thing, and if I didn't, I ruined the whole year, right? In my mind. Sure. And so this is like a recalibration of that. It's obviously a maturity thing, obviously a growth thing, and we have like a nice little gap in ages here, so it's just healthy. Yeah. Anyway, so when you guys think about this time around, it's almost like giving yourself. It feels like I'm giving ourselves almost a second shot at it, right? What do you want to get out of it? Now you gave us your initial thoughts, but what would you like to get out of it? What habits would you like to have grown? Is it part of this? Or is it just a camaraderie, the brotherhood to sharpen that even further? What do you want to get out of it? Heck, we'll start with you.
I just think I would kind of want to keep it as a daily routine instead of keeping it as a challenge. You know what I mean? Like, continue doing the whole thing, like reading every day if you can, and pray. Like, I pray every day before, when I get up, at nighttime, during the day, I pray, whatever. And like the workout thing, I do it at work. Go take a walk around the buildings, whatever, for about a good 15, 20 minutes. So that's a regular ritual thing, but like, the whole social media fasting, you might take a fast on that, but try not to be indulging on it. Like you said, you can spend it easy half an hour. I mean, I do it an hour, half an hour, flipping through your dang social media feeds for no reason, and you get lost in that rabbit hole. And it's like, damn, I just wasted a whole hour. Yeah, could have been doing something else. I could have been working out or go jogging or reading a book for an hour instead of. So I kind of want to make it, at the end of this, keep it as a normal routine for myself. I mean, if not all of it, at least the majority of it. You know what I mean? Like, to try to keep it as a routine.
Yeah, lifestyle. So it's a lifestyle change. So that's the whole point. 33 days to living your blessed life is literally this blessed lifestyle brand. So yeah, it's creating those good habits, replacing the bad ones with good ones. Mm-hmm. But to go back on the social media thing, social media, again, things are proportioned. So there's things in portions. There's things that I'm looking at and reviewing in social media that I'm using for the Blessed Lifestyle brand. So it's not necessarily just using it just to like, oh, well, this is like a lost cause, right? Like Goose and Ange, like I know you guys are looking at it for barbershop things and new styles that are in or trends or whatever people are going through. It's helpful because you get to see, what's happening in the real world or whatever. But it's the entertainment part. Once the entertainment starts kicking in, now you're just like, you got me lost in the sauce. As soon as I wake up, I look at my phone for the time or whatever, do whatever I gotta do, and then if I'm like, man, I still got like some time or whatever. If I'm done my prayer, done whatever, I turn on the TV I literally put on TBN. There's no BS. I put on TBN on the TV. Depending on what time, if you're on the East Coast, you know what I'm talking about. Anytime between 5 a.m. and 7 a.m. That's my go-to right there, because you have 4 different preachers that are just on point. They kind of resonate with me. But if I'm not doing that, there's like real quick, I got some updates, people messaging me. Again, some stuff is for the podcast, though, so it's hard. Yeah. But it's like the differentiating between the two. It's just like, anything like at your workplace or whatever, some emails you don't need to really necessarily get to right away. But then some know that they're extremely important, you got to address, right? It's sort of the same thing. You at this point as an adult, and you know what you're trying to do in life, you can differentiate whether what's entertainment versus what's business value.
Exactly.
Ange, what do you think? What are you trying to get out of this? Your
Probably
preferred outcome.
The thing I'm trying to get most out of it is discipline. Because I think we talked about it last week. Like, the motivation is going to die out. It's going to come and go. But if you got that discipline, you're going to wake up and do these things on the days you don't feel like doing them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's what I try to do. Like, even outside this, like, I try doing at least one thing a day that I don't feel like doing.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was Mike Tyson that said, do what you hate, but do it like you love it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's like, for me, it's the discipline. Because what do they say? It takes 21 days to form a habit, good or bad. We're doing this for 33 days.
That's right.
The good habit's going to be there by the time we get done.
It's purposeful.
It's up to us to keep it going.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So this is a great start. It's a jump start to something that could be great.
Absolutely. Goose, what are you trying to get out of it?
No, yeah, like Angelo said, it's the hardest part of anything is being consistent. Yeah, like you can do stuff for 5 days, but if you're not if you don't do it beyond that, it's the value of it is gone. Like there's no point. So it's being consistent. So with a lot of this stuff, like Heck said, you definitely want to be consistent on it and make it a lifestyle.
Yeah.
So hopefully it all it won't just be a challenge. It'll be our lifestyle and keep it. We were talking about earlier. Keep each other accountable. So I'm watching Angelo do it. I'm like, dang, I shouldn't even though we might be doing things at different timing throughout the day, but it's still in the back of my head. He's cutting hair, but I got one eye on me though. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So it's definitely my whole thing is to make it a lifestyle. Just to not just do this challenge, carry it on forever.
Yeah, I think for me, it's the same exact thing. I think I want to amplify the lifestyle, and actually, I think it's going to reinvigorate the passion for the podcast. We're coming up on 7 years. That's a pretty dang long time. Yeah. Pretty impressive, if I don't say so myself. But I think it's going to be fantastic because after the 33 days, there's going to be elements that I'm going to want to add. I already have on the top of my mind. And then, because once we create this to be a lifestyle, right, if it truly is a lifestyle, then we really should be already doing it. I think the things that we would maintain or switch up would be like the book, right? All right, let's switch up the book. But then we could also start adding in other elements of investments or things like that. Hey guys, let's talk about investments and let's hone in on one investment strategy for this month and let's figure it out together, right? Mm-hmm. And by the end of the year, you have 5 to 10 different ways of investing money as a group, as a whole, that we either did or done together or done separately. That's powerful. Again, my whole goal is to, 1, reinvigorate the podcast to a whole other level, 2, reinvigorate all the relationships in this room to a whole other level, and just sort of step up the game on every level. I have so many other ideas I want to spin off of this, but I think it's good to start off on a small, solid scale and then just grow from there. Because, like I said, I'm going to be adding some things to this on a personal level for myself to challenge myself. So I think it's dope. And then maybe we can present those ideas when we come back and wrap this bad boy up. Gabe, what do you want to get out of this?
It's kind of echoing kind of everybody's it's to make sure keep us on a daily basis because for the most part even after we ended the challenge before I kept up with some of it, but then it kind of came and not every single day. It was here and there, the stuff that you didn't do all the time. So it was I want to keep it every day for the most part. And that filling out the sheet kept me more accountable that way than it was I know I'm doing this and it's you can't do it. So it was I wasn't doing it as much as I did because I wasn't keeping track of it. So it was it definitely, I feel I need to just do that no matter what time of year we're doing it. So it was especially now we're adding a couple extra, layers to us too. So it's I want that, just keep all that stuff going. So one of the things that I was thinking is that we all enter into some kind of race. And I'm not talking about marathon or anything like that, but it could be a mud run or something like that at the end of the year or maybe in the fall. That it's now we're prepping ourselves. Now all of a sudden we definitely just took this to another level because now you really, what you were saying you were doing, the 20-minute workouts every day, it's going to show whether you were BSing or whether you were really on track.
Now it's going to amplify. All of a sudden, everyone's heart just dropped. Like, oh man, we got to sign up for something. Like,
Sure.
Yo, for real. Because,
Yeah.
that's the point, though, to challenge all of us. And maybe we switch it up. Maybe it's instead of, I don't know, it's social media fasting. We take that one out and put it in, give something every day to someone or something, whether it's your time, whether it's a sandwich to, a dude outside or whatever, anything. Maybe we could switch it up like that. Donate $10 a week or something to a good cause. And you got to think how powerful that is. That's $50 a week between us. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if we did that for the rest of the year, we're talking like thousands of dollars, right? And that might not be anything crazy, but if we're all elevating our income, elevating who we are, the following year, that could be 10 grand. The following year after that, It could be 20 people in here doing the same thing, right? And 100 people, and it just keep going. And think about everyone. It just keeps going, and all of a sudden, I'm telling you, I have high hopes for this. I'm very excited. I haven't been this excited for a project for a long time, since we launched a podcast, basically, and the Blessed Lifestyle brand. I haven't been this excited about a mission. That's why it's called literally Mission B33, because it's a lifestyle. It's reinvigorating. And I think that's not to take away from anyone at this table. We've all done all of this. We've on our own. We've all, I think, one day got sick and tired of the lifestyle that we're living, and we switched up. But it's cool to do it with a group of brothers, a group of men who really want to challenge themselves. So I'm super pumped up about it. Hopefully when somebody's listening to this, we're also motivating other people. So we're capturing it on a media form that someone else can be reading, and we're sharing exactly what we're doing. So we're impacting other lives indirectly from, taking on this challenge and giving, the feedback. So me and Gabe were talking about it. I'm almost thinking we should try to approach this the way we did the November one. Again, since we switched it up, added some elements. Maybe it is for the 33 days or whatever, once a week, the podcast would be us talking about, the material that we read, our experience through that week or whatever. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think checking in, doing the weekly thing is good. But I think there's like that towards the end of the week, it's kind of like that fall off. So I think just like maybe like a group text within the group, like saying, yo, this is where I'm at, or this is what I'm doing, just to make sure that we're all on top of it, so nobody's really falling off over the weekend or whatever.
Especially
the case
on Sunday,
Sunday's
going to be a tough day. Right? You know what I mean?
So like a midweek check-in?
Yeah, maybe like a Thursday, Friday morning.
Right, because you figure we typically do the podcast Mondays, sometimes Tuesdays, you know what I mean? So maybe like a Thursday or Friday check-in, like morning check-in, and you're like, this is what I'm at. Dang, thanks for the lookout. I forgot, whatever, something.
Get back
get you back into the rhythm.
Yeah, I think one of the important things, and I know it sounds weird, and you guys saw it. It can take anywhere between a minute to 3 minutes reciting all those affirmations. If you actually go through it and you're thinking about each one that you're reading, it's important because the neurotransmitters in your brain are firing off, right, in a specific direction. And when you start doing affirmations, you're rewiring those neurotransmitters to a certain degree. Now you have to do this over a repetitive, long period of time, but it has to start somewhere. And so this also helps with positive self-talk, where I can be, I don't know, like to Heck's point, Friday morning or Sunday morning, whatever, like Angelo said, not wanting to do any of this, right? Sure. And I'm thinking like, come on, man, but I don't want to do this. I don't feel like doing this. But I remember what Ange was talking about, a Mike Tyson quote. Yeah. All right, let me get up, right? And it's those conversations. If we didn't have that conversation today, I wouldn't have thought of that. But the affirmations, the importance of the affirmations is by the time Sunday comes, if you truly are reciting those affirmations, you're rewiring your brain, literally. And you're communicating to yourself and to your own thought process a different way of looking at things. I've gone through many professional transformations in my career, and a lot of it had to do with affirmations that I was telling myself, just believing in myself, because there's so many distractions, there's so many things that can go wrong, there's so many, I guess just differences of opinions in a variety of situations that you can be in, and each one is challenging, and you have to have the ability to properly navigate through that. And I think affirmations for me is an absolute game changer because it turns into your positive self-talk where you be like, nah, I don't feel like doing this. I don't feel like doing this. All of a sudden, the affirmations, I am powerful. I am undefeated. I am blessed. I am grateful. And you start going like, reciting those affirmations. It's going to rewire you, kick you in the butt. That type of deal. But to go back to the habit thing, now it's habit forming because it's 33 days of this, right? So by hopefully day 30, that's like a normal thing you're saying to yourself. You're reciting it. And now, what if you add your goals to that? If you read any Napoleon Hill book, Bob Proctor book, whatever, anybody who's in the personal development industry, they're telling you to recite your goals or think about your goals 3 times a day or write them down. What happens if that's what it turns into? We could have easily added write your goals down 3 times a day. Could have easily added that, right? But to keep it simple, for the first time, let's see where this takes us. We could be testing things on our own and bring it to the table. I wrote my goal down once a day at least. But it's saying that, like, I want to invest, or I want my investment account to reach $500 by the end of this year, right? And you keep saying that. Or everyone has goals, right? Like you shared your goals the last time we had talked, and you recite that, whatever it is, right? And you're constantly talking about it. It's going to manifest. I did this in college. You had a set goal. I needed to finish a specific amount of courses within a small time frame, and that's all we talked about because you're forced to do it. You're forced to study. You're forced to sit down and do it, right? All those books are still sitting in the library, right? They're still sitting there. The reason why we, got a degree out of it is because we actually sat down and actually did the work. You just got to actually do it. And I think this is not one. This is going to be something you need. 2, if you're going to hit all the goals that we're talking about, you need, this is baseline. This is foundational to all of that. And if we truly do believe 2023 is a year of great prosperity, this is exactly where it starts. I think the biggest thing that everyone here, when you're doing these challenges, is sharing with the people. Like, we're going to be in contact with each other on a regular basis. And Goose and Angelo more so on a daily basis. But for the most part, and it's dope because you guys are aware of it, we have to go home and share it with the people that are around us. Like, I'm taking this challenge. It's awesome because, Goose, I think this happened to you, and I know it happened to me at home. My wife she didn't take on the challenge, but she's also started, like, drinking protein shakes or whatever, like, added to her, taking her multivitamin back again and getting into she started exercising regularly. And all of a sudden, that's my motivation all at the same time. Like, dang, she's doing it. No excuses today because she's already done and she's already checked some things off her list. So now I want to, keep that going and, share it with the family. Like, my 2 sons watch every single thing that I do, right? And so if I want to be a good role model, this is a fantastic thing to implement. Because the first thing as soon as I leave the house, Daddy going to work? It's like it's already in their brain that when I'm leaving, I'm gonna do something. They're not saying, Dad, you're going to go do a whole lot of nothing? Like, as soon as you walk out this house? Yeah, you're going to be productive. You're going to go work. You're going to work. You're coming back. Going to the podcast. Like, it's all productive things. So now they're associating their lives when they leave the house. It's to do something productive, right? I think the biggest thing is managing that, like the work-life balance. This considered that, and then that's why it's a lifestyle. We keep talking, intertwining this with and make it normalize this. This should be normalized. We look at this stuff so much, like we ostracize each other, like, oh yeah, he's on another diet, here he goes, blah blah blah. Instead of encouraging somebody, right? And we see it all the time, like, DJ Khaled is huge for this. Like, he gets, oh yeah, right, he's not gonna do it, and then there's a video clip of, like, Rick Ross or something lifting weights, and DJ Khaled, no matter how you could say whatever you want about him, he was so encouraging. Everyone else is laughing, and DJ Khaled's like pumping, Rick Ross up. I don't know I forget what they were specifically doing. He was hitting a goal or whatever, but that's the type of energy you want to be around. Sure. You know what I'm saying? Whether it was fake or real, I don't know, but what was captured in that little 30-second clip was phenomenal. And I think doing this as a group, we're gonna generate ideas from here that I think we can implement and honestly take the podcast, our lifestyles, everything to the next level. And I think, again, this is foundational to what we're trying to do anyway. This is what we should be doing on our own. It's dope that we get to do it together.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so we're going to go around the horn. Any final thoughts, anything you want to just mention that we didn't mention here, and we'll close this bad boy out. Gabe, we'll start with you.
It's just good that we're doing this again. Like, it kind of starts the year, like, I guess now if we do it throughout the year, it kind of bookends everything, because obviously we just keep it going, and now we're starting the year off right, as opposed to, like, kind of figuring it out at the end. So I like that we're doing it now at the beginning of the year.
Goose?
Yeah, I mean, this is a 33-day challenge, but it's a solid 5 weeks. So, like, that's like a decent time, like a significant amount of time, like week after week after week to do it. It's not like a short 3 weeks or whatever. It's a solid 33 days. Is in this case 5 good weeks. So, like, that's definitely, if you don't create any kind of habit within this time frame, then those are the next thing we do. That's what you got to focus on.
Yeah. Angelo.
I'm just so hyped to see at the end of this 33-day challenge, like every one of our checklists is checked off.
Yes.
Like every box is checked on every one of our sheets.
Yes.
Like I can already see it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
100%.
I can't wait for that.
Hell yeah.
I just like the fact that we're all going to sit here and hold each other accountable now that the book is in here.
Yeah.
The book is definitely going to make sure that you don't want to be that kid like, he didn't read because he doesn't know what happened in chapter 3 or day 3 or whatever. So it's definitely going to make sure that everyone is on top of their A game with it and stay focused. And that's it.
I love it. Well, I just want to say thank you guys for, joining the challenge and accepting the challenge. I throw a lot of crazy things out there and I just see if it sticks. And this is one that does. But if I was going to do anything, with any group of people that was going to make this a level of positive change, it would be with you guys. And I'm happy that it is something that we're improving on ourselves first, because I know the impact it's going to have for the people around us, people listening to this podcast. We have friends and family that you guys don't even know listen to this on a regular basis. They're going to listen to it. It's going to impact them. I mean, this happens to us all the time. We're at outings or parties or wherever, and people are talking to us about the podcast. Oh, yeah, your last episode, and we just that spins off conversation. So hopefully, if you're listening to this, follow along, do it yourself. B33. I'm going to have a more formalized version of this for everyone. Once we get through it, because once again, the way we're sharpening up the first challenge, obviously I'm going to do that with this, and get the feedback from the guys. And 2023, it's the year.
I think. Also, let me just jump in quick. I think we should put the checklist on Facebook in case someone else is out there and wants to join us, because this is coming out next week's episode. And it's going to start next week, right?
Yeah.
February 1st we're starting this challenge. Yeah. So I say we throw this out there, and whoever wants to join us, come on and join us. We could definitely put this as a PDF on there and have people join us on it. And if they can show us the results on Facebook or Instagram.
It's going to have to be on our business accounts.
Took words out of my mouth, bro. I was just thinking that.
That was me trying to get my feed.
Yeah. No, I'm keeping up with the people.
Yeah, I was checking in. No, I had to respond.
Not me.
All right, let's close this bad boy out with quotes, and the first one's by Roy T. Bennett. If you want to be happy, do not dwell in the past. Do not worry about the future. Focus on living fully in the present. And the second one by Charles Darwin. It's not the strongest of species that survive, nor the most intelligent, but the one most responsive to change. Mission B33. In this episode, the crew is taking on a new challenge. We cover topics that range from challenge additions, recommendations, expected results, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Roy T. Bennett and Charles Darwin. Awesome. Guys, thanks again for joining us. The Rotated Views podcast was produced for self-development purposes. Huge shout out to our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Blessed Lifestyle brand. That is BL3SSED.com. Also sponsored by The Motivation Files Unleashed. This motivational mixtape will be your fuel for success. Available on all platforms. Guys, don't forget to visit the website, JimmyleeVelez.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rotated Views. If you have any inquiries or questions, email us at info@JimmyleeVelez.com. On behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, we wish you massive success. Stay blessed.